So today I'm going to read Beowulf Part 4. Beowulf goes to Hrothgar's assistance, and probably a couple more chapters. So, Healfden's kinsman consistently mused on his long-lasting sorrow. The battle-thane clever was not anywise able evils to scrape from, too crushing the sorrow that came to the people, loathsome and lasting the life-grinding torture, greatest of night woes. So Hygelac's liegeman, good amid great men, of Grendel's achievements heard in his home. Of heroes then living, he was stoutest and strongest, sturdy and noble. He bade them prepare him a bark that was trusty. He said that he the war king would seek o'er the ocean, the folk leader noble, since he needed retainers. For the perilous project prudent companions chided him little, though loving him dearly. They egged the brave atheling, argued him glory, the excellent knight from the folk of the Geatmen. Had liegemen selected, likest to prove them trustworthy warriors. With 14 companions, the vessel he looked for, a liegeman then showed them. A sea-crafty man, the bounds of the country. Fast the days fleeted, the float was a water, the craft by the cliff, combed the prow, then well-equipped warriors. The wave currents twisted the sea on the sand. Soldiers then carried on the breast of the vessel bright shining jewels, handsome war armor. Heroes outshoved them. Warmen the woodship on its wished-for adventure. The foamy-necked floater fanned by the breeze. Likest a bird, glided the waters. Till 24 hours thereafter, the twist-stem vessel had traveled such distance that the sailing men saw the sloping embankments, the sea cliffs gleaming, perceptuous mountains, nesses enormous. They were nearing the limits at the end of the ocean. Up thence quickly the men of the Weeders clomb to the mainland, fastened their vessel, battle weeds rattled, war bunnies clattered. The wielder they thanked, that the ways o'er the water had waxen so gentle. Then well from the cliff edge the guard of the Scyldings, who the sea cliffs should see to, saw o'er the gangway, brave ones bearing butinous targets, armor all ready. Anxiously thought he, musing and wondering what men were approaching. High on his horse then Hrothgar's retainer turned him to coastward, mightily brandished his lance in his hand, questioned with boldness, Who are ye men here, mail-covered warriors, clad in your corslets, come thus a-driving, a high-riding ship o'er the shoals of the waters, and hither 'neath helmets have hied o'er the ocean? I have been strandguard, standing as warden, lest enemies ever anywise ravage Danish dominions with army of warships. More boldly never have warriors ventured hither to come. Of kinsmen's approval, word leave of warriors, I ween that ye surely nothing have known. Never a greater one of earls o'er the earth have I had a sight of than your number. A hero in armor, no low-ranking fellow, adorned with his weapons, but launching them little, unless looks are deceiving and striking appearance. Ere ye pass on your journey as treacherous spies to the land of the Scyldings, and further fare, I fully must know now what race ye belong to. Ye far-away dwellers, seafaring sailors, my simple opinion, hear ye and hearken. Haste is most fitting, plainly to tell me what place ye are come from. Now we're on part 5. The Geats reach Heorot. The chief of the strangers rendered him answer, war troopers' leader, and word treasure opened. We are sprung from the lineage of the people of Geatland, and Hygelac's hearth friends. To heroes unnumbered my father was known, a noble head warrior, Yggdrathro tilted. Many a winter he lived with the people, ere he passed on his journey. Old from his dwelling, each of the counselors widely mid-world folk will remember him. We, kindly of spirit, the lord of thy people, the son of King of Healfdene, have come here to visit. Folk troops defender, be free in thy counsels. To the noble one bear we a weighty commission. The helm of the Danemen we shall hide. I ween not of our message. Thou know'st if it were happen, as we soothly heard say, that some savage despoiler, some hidden pursuer, on nights that are murky by deeds very direful, mid the Danemen exhibits hatred unheard of, horrid destruction in the falling of dead. From feelings least selfish I am able to render counsel to Hrothgar, how he, wise and worthy, may worst the destroyer. If the anguish of sorrow should ever be lessened, comfort come to him, and care waves grow cooler, or ever hereafter he agony suffer, and troublous distress, while towereth upward the handsomest of houses high on the summit. Bestriding his stallion, the strand watchman answered the doughty retainer, the difference surely twixt words and works, the warlike shield-bearer who judgeth wisely well shall determine. This band, I hear, beareth no malice to the prince of the Skeldings. Pass ye then onward, with weapons and armor. I shall lead you in person. To my war-trusty vassals command I shall issue, to keep from all injury your excellent vessel, your fresh-tarred craft, against every opposer. Close by the seashore, till the curved-necked bark shall waft back again the well-beloved hero, o'er the way of the water to wetter dominions. To warriors so great 'twill be granted sure in the storm of strife to stand secure. Onward they fared then. The vessel lay quiet. The broad Boston bark was bound by its cable firmly at anchor. The bore signs glistened. Bright on the visors, vivid with gliding, blaze-hearted, brilliant, the bore acted warden. The heroes hastened, hurried the liegemen, descended together till they saw the great palace, the well-fashioned wassail hall, wondrous and gleaming, mid-world folk and kindreds that was widest reputed, of halls under heaven which the hero abode in, its luster and lightened lands without number. Then the battle-brave hero showed them the glittering court of the bold ones, that they easily thither might fare on their journey. The aforementioned warrior, turning his courser, quoth them as he left them, "'Tis time I were faring. Father Almighty grant you his grace, and give you to the journey safe on your mission. To the sea I will get me 'gainst hostile warriors as warden to stand." And now we are on part 6. Beowulf introduces himself at the palace. The highway glistened with many-hued pebble, and a bypath led the liegemen together. Firm and hand-locked the war-byrnie glistened. The ring-sword radiant rang mid the armor, as the party was approaching the palace together in warlike equipments, 'gainst the wall of the building. Their wide-fashioned war-shields they wearied did set them. Battle-shields sturdy, benchward they turned them. Their battle-sacks rattled, the gear of the heroes. The lances stood upon them, all in a cluster. The arms of the seamen, ashen shafts mounted, with edges of iron. The sea-armored clad troops were decked with weapons. Then a proud-mooded hero asked of the champions questions of lineage. "From what borders bear ye your battle-shields plated, gilded and gleaming, your gray-colored byrnies, helmets with visors, and heaps of war-lances? To Hrothgar the king I am servant and liegeman. 'Mong folks from far lands found I have never men so many of men more courageous. I ween that from valor, nowise as outlaws, but from greatness of soul ye sought for King Hrothgar.' Then the strength-famous earlman answer rendered. The proud-mooded Wetter chief replied to his question, hardly 'neath the helmet. "Hygelac's mates are we, Beowulf hight I. To the Bairn of Heafden, the famous folk leader, I freely will tell to thy prince my commission, if pleasantly hearing, he'll grant may we greet him so gracious to all men." Wulfgar replied then. He was prince of the Wendels. His boldness of spirit was known unto many, his prowess and prudence. "The prince of the Skeldings, the friend lord of Danemen, I will ask of thy journey, the giver of rings, as thou urgest me to do it, the folk chief famous, and inform thee early what answer the good one mindeth to render me." He turned, then, hurriedly, where Hrothgar was sitting, old and hoary, his earlmen attending him. The strength famous went till he stood at the shoulder of the lord of the Danemen, of courteous Thanemen, the custom he minded. Wulfgar addressed then his friendly liege lord. "Folk of the Geatmen, o'er the way of the waters are wafted hither, faring from far lands. The foremost in rank the battle champions Beowulf title. They make this petition with thee, O my chieftain, to be granted a conference. O gracious King Hrothgar, friendly answer refuse not to give them. In war trappings weeded worthy they seem of earls to be honored. Sure the atheling is a doughty, who heeded the heroes hitherward coming.